She didn't cry when he told her. She just nodded, picked up the one personal item she had kept on her desk, a small succulent she had watered every single morning for 6 years, and walked out of the building she had helped build from the ground up. The building with his name on it. This is the story of Maya, and I need to warn you before we begin. By the end of this video, you are going to feel two things at once: the deep ache of recognizing someone who gave everything, and something that feels a lot like hope. Stay with me until the end, because what Maya did in the months that followed, nobody around her saw it coming. Maya was 26 when she met Daniel at a startup networking event. He had a pitch deck, a domain name, and enormous confidence. She had an operations background, a master's degree in business, and the kind of quiet competence that makes other people look more capable than they actually are. He offered her a co-founder role. Equity, he said. A real stake in what they were building together. She said yes, and for 3 years, she built. She wrote the processes, she hired the first 12 employees, she negotiated every vendor contract and managed every investor relationship. She held the whole operation together during the months when Daniel's vision and reality had a, let's call it a difficult relationship. You know the type of person I am describing. The one who stays late not because they have to, but because they genuinely care about what they are building. The one whose name you never see in the press release, but without whom there would be no press release. By year 4, the company had 12 employees and a real client list. By year 5, they were closing a Series A. And somewhere in year 5, Maya met Claudia. Daniel introduced her as a strategic advisor, someone with investor connections who could help them prepare for the next phase. She was polished, confident. She laughed at all of Daniel's jokes. Maya noticed, but she was busy. There was a funding round to close. She filed it away. The first real sign came on a Tuesday. Maya arrived for the weekly leadership meeting, the one she had been running for 2 years, and found Daniel already there, with Claudia, and 2 other people she didn't recognize. She asked what was happening. Daniel said they were restructuring some responsibilities. He used the word streamlining. Over the next 6 weeks, Maya watched herself slowly removed from her own company. First, the investor calls she had always led, reassigned to Claudia. Then the weekly all-hands. Daniel started running them alone. Then her access to the financial dashboard, temporarily restricted during the audit. Each individual thing had an explanation. But explanations are not the same as reasons. She asked Daniel directly. She described exactly what she was seeing. She asked him to tell her honestly what was happening. He said she was overthinking it. He said she was stressed. He said the company needed her to trust the process. I want to pause here, because if you have ever been in a situation where someone used your own reasonableness against you, where your patience, your loyalty, your calm were treated as permission to keep going, you know exactly how this moment felt. 2 weeks later, Daniel called her into his office. Claudia was already there. He said the company was evolving. He said her role had become, he used the word, redundant. He thanked her for everything she had done. He slid a folder across the desk. A severance offer. 3 months for 6 years. She didn't cry. She picked up the folder. She said she would have her lawyer review it. And she walked out, carrying her succulent. Now, here is where most people would expect this story to take a very dark turn. A long, painful legal battle. Years of bitterness. That is not what happened. Remember the notebook I mentioned? Let me tell you what was in it. Maya didn't write about Daniel that night. She didn't write about Claudia. She didn't write about what they had taken from her. She wrote about what she knew. 6 years of operational knowledge. Every system she had built. Every client relationship she had managed. Every process she had designed from scratch. She had been so focused on building his company that she had never once stopped to think about what she was capable of building for herself. Over the following 3 months, the same 3 months covered by her severance, she did 4 things. 1. She called 3 of the clients she had personally onboarded at Daniel's company. Not to take them, just to stay in touch, to let them know she had moved on, to ask how they were doing. 2 of them asked what she was working on next. 2, she called the 2 best operators she had hired and trained. Both had already heard something was shifting at the company. Both took her call on the first ring. 3, she registered a new company, named it something clean, something with no history attached to it. 4, she set her severance aside and didn't touch it, not because she didn't need it, because she wanted to know she could build without it. 14 months later, Maya's company had 5 full-time employees, including the 2 people she had trained at Daniel's firm. 2 of her former clients had become founding clients. A third had referred her to their network. She wasn't doing anything revolutionary. She was doing exactly what she had always done. But this time, the name on the door was hers. Before I tell you how Maya's story ends, I want to talk to you for a moment. Because I don't think you found this video by accident. If you have been watching videos like this one, there is a good chance some part of Maya's story felt familiar. Maybe it wasn't a business, maybe it was a job, a relationship, a friendship, a project that had your fingerprints all over it. Maybe someone took credit for what you built. Maybe someone told you that you were overthinking it. Maybe you stayed longer than you should have because you genuinely believed in what you were building together. I want you to hear this. That loyalty was not a mistake. The fact that you cared deeply about the work, the people, doing it right, that says something about who you are. It does not say something about what you deserve. The last thing Maya said, and I want to read this exactly the way she said it, because the words matter. I used to think the worst part was what he did. Now I think the worst part was how long I waited for him to see what I was worth. The day I stopped waiting, that was the day I actually started building. She is 2 years into her company now. She doesn't talk about Daniel publicly. She doesn't need to. Before you go, I want to ask you something, and I genuinely want to know your answer. Leave it in the comments. Have you ever given more to something, a job, a relationship, a person, than they ever gave back? And when you finally left, what did you do with everything you had learned? Every comment tells me you want more stories like this one, and I read them all. If this video meant something to you, hit subscribe, because every week I bring you a story about someone who was underestimated, overlooked, or betrayed, and what happened when they finally stopped waiting for permission to become who they were meant to be.